Hey, what's up, everyone? In this video, we're going to talk about understanding the difference between seeing and looking. When you look at something, you skim the surface, you acknowledge it's there. But when you really see, you understand it. You feel its shape, its texture, its essence. That's what we're aiming for in observational drawing. It's not just about duplicating what's in front of you, but capturing its true nature. Observational drawing is fundamental. It teaches you to capture the essence of your subject, to translate the real world into a language of lines and shadows on paper. This is where it begins. It's where you learn to connect with your subject, to see it not just as a collection of details, but as a whole, as something alive and speaking. Mastering the art of perceiving and drawing basic shapes is a pivotal skill for artists. It involves reconditioning your vision and thought process to interpret the world not as a complex web of objects, but as a canvas of simple, fundamental shapes. Begin this transformative journey by closely observing the mundane objects that surround you. That mug on a table, for instance, it's not just a mug, but a cylinder. The book beside it, a rectangle, the tree outside, a series of ovals and lines. As you cultivate this method of seeing, the most elaborate scenes will start to unravel into these basic, manageable components. This new way of seeing revolutionizes your approach to drawing. It shifts your focus from being overwhelmed by intricate details to confidently deconstructing and reconstructing forms in simple terms. This method doesn't just ease the drawing process, it invigorates it. Begin your sketches with a rough outline of basic shapes, capturing the core before diving into the finer details. This approach isn't merely about making drawing more accessible, it's about infusing it with speed and vitality. However, like any profound skill, it demands a lot of practice. Regularly engage with your surroundings with a sketchbook in hand. Break down what you see into shapes and commit to them on paper. Over time, this practice evolves from an exercise into an instinct, enhancing not only your drawing abilities, but also your overall visual cognition, enriching how you perceive and interact with the world. The journey of learning to perceive and draw basic shapes transcends beyond mere technique. It's also a philosophical shift in viewing the world. It's about embracing a broader, more abstract perspective other than a fixation on minute details. This newfound freedom doesn't just simplify drawing, it amplifies the joy and creative expression in your artistry. Here are some techniques for breaking complex objects into simple shapes. And this is a key skill for any artist. It's about changing how you see. You look at the world and break it down. Simple shapes, not a maze of details. This new vision changes how you draw. It's not about getting lost in the details anymore. It's about seeing the basic structure of things and putting that down first. Your drawings start with these shapes. They're quick, they're rough, but they capture what's essential. It's not just about making drawing easier. It's about giving it life, making it something you do without thinking too hard. But it takes practice. So carry a sketchbook, look around you, break down what you see into shapes and get them down on paper. Over time, this becomes a part of you. It changes not just how you draw, but how you see everything. Learning to draw shapes is more than a skill. It's a new way to look at the world. You stop getting hung up on details. You start seeing things in a broader, more abstract way. This doesn't just make drawing simple. It makes it more enjoyable. It frees you to express yourself in your art. Seeing shapes in form, light, and shadow is about understanding how light defines what you see. You look at how light falls on things, how it creates shadows and highlights, how these shape the form. It's about seeing the world as a play of light and dark, understanding how these elements give objects their shape and volume. Practice this. Sit somewhere with good light. Look at how it hits different objects. See how the shadows form shapes, how the highlights define edges. Sketch what you see, but focus on the light and the dark. Shadows are shapes. Lights make shapes. The forms make shapes. And how they interact with each other. The types of shapes are endless. And once again, focus on the larger shapes first. Don't worry about getting every detail. Just try to capture the way the light and shadow work together to define the form of what you're looking at. And this could be a nude model, and this could be a bouquet of flowers. It doesn't matter what you're looking at. It's made up of these shapes. And this is how you start to see things differently. You're not just looking at the object itself anymore. You're seeing how light plays across it, how it creates the shape and the space it occupies. And this isn't something you learn overnight. It takes time and practice, but as you work on it, as you train yourself to see light and shadow, you'll find your understanding of form and volume deepening. You'll start to see the world in a new way, not just as a collection of objects, but as a tapestry of light and dark. And this will change your drawing. It will give your work a depth and a realism that it didn't have before. Because now you're not just drawing things, you're drawing how light reveals them. I hope you like this video. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel.